The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Adrien The Powder Broner. We're going to talk about Adrien, King Kong ain't got nothing on me, Broner. And his statements that he's done with boxing and he's going to the streets.
I'm done.
I'm done. To move that coat.
Yo, first off, yo.
Actually, I'm going to start with G.
I'm done. I'm done with Boxing Bros. I'm done.
You going to the streets?
First of all, I'm done with Boxing Bros. For one thing, you always go in the G. You always go in the G first, you know what I'm saying? And then when I try to talk about what I want to talk about, everybody got an issue about what I'm going to the streets. I'm going back to the street. I'm getting money in the streets now. I'm not doing Boxing Bros no more. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm getting money in the streets. I'm done. I'm done. This is the last episode for me for Boxing Bros. The 10th episode, I'm done. I got money in the streets. I'm getting the money in the streets.
And the boys ain't gonna catch you.
The boys ain't gonna catch me.
When this goes up on YouTube, they're gonna be looking for you.
You know what I'm saying?
You let the boys go to look for you.
On guard now.
Oh, God.
I was gonna start with you, G, but Trill.
Nah, my rant right there was just basically to show love to my man. Hey, me, I feel you. And I love Boxing Bros. I love Boxing Bros. You know what I'm saying? And I love my co-hosts. You know what I'm saying? But yo, listen. This segment right here, I think we should do a whole another segment. When we talk about Adrien Broner, I have the most unpopular opinion of Adrien Broner. And my opinion comes from loving the sport of boxing and loving boxers. You know what I'm saying? And I feel sorry for Adrien Broner. My co-host Hayden had alluded to the fact that I think one thing that needs to be checked suffer from CTE. That's one thing. Because a lot of his behaviors. Another thing is people, they only see the bad in certain fighters because of certain narratives, a certain way that certain fighters have to promote themselves. Certain fighters in certain cultures have to promote themselves as villains so that they can sell tickets, so they can be household names. And sometimes that character, people think that that's who that person is all the time in real life. And I feel that Broner is one of these people that people see certain antics and it's easy to hate him because these are the things that he promotes to sell fights. I remember people was going crazy, do change in Walmart. People lost their mind. But the truth is, he paid for everybody's stuff at Walmart, or in that line. And he thought that this would be a good idea to promote the fight because, you know, that's how when people look at people that's from his culture, they look at. So he was thinking smartly. It was how to market himself. The problem with that is, Broner didn't realize that some of these people really don't believe that some of this stuff is just entertainment. They start really thinking this is who you are. Broner dealt with a lot of stuff that I don't think he was prepared for, coming where he was from. And he really honestly thought that certain people was his friend. And certain people was his family because of where he came from. He had to understand that this was just business. So when you see that video of him Ray talking about he's going back to the streets. He's disheartened. He's disheartened with the relationships he met in boxing because he thought they were real friends. And he's disheartened by the fans. And the reason why you would say, oh, why are we disheartened by the fans? And one of the biggest fights in Broner's career, he lost this fight, but it was one of his greatest performances ever. It was a fight against Marcus McDonough, where he fought his heart out in that fight. It seemed like before that, Adrien Broner was unstoppable. He was running through guys with no effort. This was at 30 and 35. He decided to go up to 147 to be great, to challenge to be great. He had a tough fight with Paulie Malignaggi, but still got in with another big guy, Marcus McDonough, who gives everybody trouble. As you see, Floyd fought him twice. Broner, he did what he does, played the villain so he could sell the fight. And he fought his heart out. Was concussed in that fight, bruised jaw in that fight, was dropped in that fight twice, got back up, and almost stopped Mike. Everybody, even his fans, the ones that were supporting him and was rooting for him, turned their back on him as soon as he lost. Any other fighter who would have fought that fight that Adrien Broner fought with Marcus McDonough would have been heralded as having so much heart, but we shunned him, and his own fans turned their back on him. I believe in that fight, while he got up to fight and was knocked down and got back up and was caught in those exchanges, I think that's the reason why we have the Broner we have today. One who was scared to let his hands go. Because when he let his hands go and he was caught in the exchange and showed that warrior mentality, he got clowned for it. His own people clowned him for it. Everybody turned their back on him. We've got to stop thinking that some people are just human. A lot of things that Broner does, a lot of actions, some things he does is as silly, as ridiculous, but sometimes you gotta look at it, the position he's in, as the person who he is, and how he has to market and promote fights. All these antics, we were starting to see that they was coming around fight time. This is what they encourage for certain fighters to do. If you don't know the ins and outs about boxing. I'm not trying to say that Broner is not supposed to take responsibility for his actions, and some of the things he does, I can't even explain. But I just know for a fact that Broner hasn't been given his just due. Everybody else, the Conor McGregors, they can punch old guys, say racist slurs, talk bad about other fighters.
Throw dollies at women.
All this stuff. But when it comes to Adrien Broner, everybody wants to run down on him. But everybody else is cool with what they do. Everybody wants to run down and pick on Adrien Broner. And I get it. It's cool to always go at somebody that everybody's already kicking. It's cool to join in. But let's not forget that he's a 4-time world champion in 4 different weight classes. And he did things that, when Mikey jumped up to 147, he was brave. all these guys. He got beat by Spence. They still praising him for taking that test. Cal Brook went up. They praised him for taking that test. Adrien Broner went up, and everybody clowned him for losing because he was confident in himself, because he said he was the best. He did certain antics to promote himself because people are forced. There's two ways if you're. You have to promote yourself. So I'm just saying to some people, let's be less judgmental. And let's not be so quick to throw stones. Only if you're not perfect. If you're perfect, go ahead. Judge Adrien Broner. But if you're not perfect and you have some shortcomings, don't be so quick to judge. My dad always told me there were three sides to every story. This person's side, and the truth. Instead of always backpacking and hopping on what somebody else said about a super, do your research. Adrien Broner has given back to his community. He's given back to fighters. He's given back to just random kids for buying them sneakers and back to school stuff. So has Floyd and other fighters. But these fighters get the most trash talked about them. And they go through much hate. They always want to mention the other guys who do give back, but not these guys. So I just wanted to put this, I didn't want to make this a, sad episode. I just know, me personally, how I feel about Adrien Broner. I just always felt like he's never been given a fair shake. Even from his own friends, his own kind. But everybody else is always commended for certain things. That's just my view on Adrien Broner. I can go deeper, but I'm gonna do that on another segment, on other things.
G.
I mean, you go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'll just sum it up real quick. I agree in part and disagree in part with some of what Trilla stated. I do agree that in Adrien Broner's biggest fight ever, he showed so much heart with Marcos Maidana. And typically, if a young guy around the age of 24 puts on that performance, he's praised. People say it's amazing that he got up from the knockdown and he was able to continue to fight. However, Broner does have some antics that just make it hard to root for him. Like when he humped Marcos Maidana in the middle of that fight. That's not something that people can rock with. Like, yeah, some antics you do to sell the fight. But once the fight is already sold, you don't need to do certain things anymore. Now, I believe he did the whole humping thing because his pride was hurt. He was in a dogfight. And, once people start loving you for crazy antics, it's tough to know where to draw the line. And I think that's where someone like Conor McGregor's finding himself in an issue. But then there was a fight with Paulie Malignaggi where leading up to the fight, he showed that fight as, he took Paulie's girl, and Paulie's like, that was my side piece. And then that was cool during the promotion. No one had an issue with it. But it was after Paulie lost a close decision to Adrien Broner, he started saying how he took his girl in the ring and was classless, and that turned people off to Adrien Broner. So I think his antics at times made it hard to rock with Adrien Broner. But where I do agree with Trill is Broner played the villain role to sell the fight. No one wants to see two good guys fighting. If you think that's a joke, when you watch the Avengers, you don't want to see two good guys fighting each other. You feel like, who to root for? Who do I go for? It just makes you sick to your stomach. You don't want to see Captain America fighting Iron Man. You don't want to see it because you like both guys. You don't know who to root for.
You need an antagonist.
Yeah, it's easier to look at Thanos and say, yeah, I want them to be Thanos, although I like Thanos personally, that's my favorite. But anyways, getting back to the topic, someone needs to be the villain. And Broner was happy to embrace that villain role. But I think what happened with Adrien Broner is he didn't understand the type of stress and the type of backlash that comes with being a villain. Like even Michael B. Jordan said he had to do therapy after playing Killmonger, right? There have been Heath Ledger committed suicide after playing the Joker. I think sometimes people don't understand the pressure and just the way it can mess with your mind when you're perceived as a villain. To be a villain is a tough thing. LeBron James, his first go-round with the Miami Heat, he was the villain. He tried to play that villain role, but then when he got to the NBA Finals, it became too much for him, and he had the biggest meltdown of his career. Being a villain is a difficult thing. It's a tough thing to endure, and I think Adrien Broner wasn't prepared for the type of mental strain that comes with that. Floyd Mayweather has been able to handle the villain role. There have been people throughout the course of history, Kobe Bryant's been able to handle the villain role, but it takes a certain mentality to be able to deal with the villain role. Being a villain is tough, and so many people have crumbled from that. And so I think that got to Adrien Broner. He couldn't find a line when he was crossing the line. How much was too much? And then the backlash, and then all the stress. But mainly the most important thing I want to touch on is I think Adrien Broner suffers from CTE. When you look at the inconsistencies in his moves, when you look at the amount of punishment he's taken in the boxing ring, when you look at his behavior in certain moments of his life, like trying to get into a club, arguing with the gay guy on Twitter, and his response to it, certain things that he has done.
And beating up a guy during a craps game.
Yeah, I think, and even forget boxing, I'm going to the streets. There's some disconnect there. That says he's not all good. One minute is F Floyd, the next minute is he loves Floyd. And I think there's enough to show he has a good heart. Like he brought Tank to Floyd. There's a video of him with like a woman Uber driver, and he gives her like $100.
He gives like $1,000 to a homeless man.
Yeah, he does a lot of good things. He's not necessarily a bad person. I think he wants to be good, but I think his mental health is something that needs to be evaluated at this point if people cared about him. But of course, being the villain sells, and that's why he fought on pay-per-view before Earl Spence. That's why he fought on pay-per-view before Terrence Crawford. That's why he fought on pay-per-view before Keith Thurman and all those other guys. Because being the villain sells. But at this point, I think people should just look at Adrien Broner as someone who needs help. And I think Earl Spence, Tank Davis, Robert Easter Jr., all the guys who he respects and who he loves should take him and say, look, we're going to get you some help. And care about his health first. Because at this point, I think that's the most important thing for Adrien Broner. So that's my take.
I just wanted to tie to some couple of things you said about the Madonna fight. Yeah, of course, people understand when you fought Madonna. He was a young fighter who went up in weight class. He went from 135 up to 147 to fight Madonna. And got up off his behind twice to get up. Now people say the antics that he might have done in that fight. There's been other fighters that have grabbed great fighters, Hall of Fame fighters, who grabbed their genitals during fights, pat a fighter on the head, bend over, tell the fighter to kiss their butt. Other things, spin around, do other things in the ring to try to humiliate or to put on a show for him. So as far as the humping of Madonna and playing around, he has done that before in other fights. Not only did he do it in this fight, he just did it in another fight, meaning that he's going to get them. The F word, that's what they said in the press conference, that's where they came from. And with the Paulie Malignaggi fight, as you know, I was thinking that was too much also. But we also got to understand what was said to him before he made those statements. And I also agree that they shouldn't He was awarded the victory in that fight, and he was talking about how great Paulie did in that fight to him. That upset him, and like I said before, I don't think fighters should be interviewed right after a fight. After being punched in the face for 12 rounds. You know? So there's that credit. And then to the other things. Also, a lot of things that happened with Broner has came out later. Like, not only was the guy, you know what I'm saying, one of the guys he beat up, you gotta understand, Broner gets, what's the word I'm looking for? People look at Broner and they see this is a way that they can get some bread. They look at Broner and they say, you know what, all I gotta do is say this, say that. You know what I'm saying? There's been plenty of instances where, you know, and that goes to Broner not being prepared, like what you said, being prepared for this role, the villain role. But like, I also agree with what you said. I just wanted to highlight those points right there. I think people around him, Broner does need help. And I do believe that there is an issue. But instead of putting somebody down and always talking bad about somebody and ganging up on somebody, help them. Help them. We always talk about all these fighters and they're the greats and stuff. Let's help them while they still, let's show them love while they still fighting. I seen Floyd Mayweather once say, Morphley asked, Jim Gray asked Floyd, do you care about being liked, Floyd? I never seen Floyd Mayweather about to cry. Cause yeah, he wants to be liked. Who doesn't? We're all humans at the end of the day.
Alright,
Give Broner some help.
that does it for Adrien Broner.
Please like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what you think. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I could have got out here and been like everybody. I could bash him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a lover of boxing. You know what I'm saying? I can identify with these boxers, these warriors. They put their life on the line every time they jump in the ring. I'm never going to disrespect a fighter. Tell a fighter that they suck, or they're a waste of air, or they should kill themselves. The things that I see that people say to Adrien Broner is hilarious. It's disrespectful and it's despicable. So please, leave your comment, like and subscribe. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This is the Boxing Bros.
Peace.